Good afternoon, y'all. How y'all doing today? Yes, that's right. That's what I want to hear. So, welcome to Pasadena City College, a vibrant learning institution. As we gather here today, it's essential to recognize the profound history of this indigenous land. We must also acknowledge the painful legacy of forced enslavement and the sacrifices of Black and brown individuals who contributed to the nation's growth. We are all teachers and learners, and today we reaffirm our commitment to justice, change, and anti-racism. Let us continue the journey towards awareness and equality together. Welcome, everybody. How y'all doing? So with that land acknowledgement, I am pleased to welcome you to our first ever Career Pathways Diversity panel. My name is Danny Cabrera, and I proudly serve as the Creative Services Producer at the Freeman Career Center. This event is particularly close to my heart, as I'm not only a dancer myself, but also someone who deeply understands the significance of networking, especially within the dance industry. I've dedicated considerable effort to creating this event, which features a diverse panel of accomplished professional dancers with a wealth of experience. These four professionals are eager to share their stories and industry insights while providing us with this valuable networking opportunity. Welcome to Career Pathways for Dancers. And I'm about to play this short video to let y'all know a little bit of our dancers today. the stage. Shirley Quigley, Jesus Ramonte, Rudy Garcia, and Amaria Stern. All right, thank y'all for coming here today. Let's dive into these questions. And let's give it up for our dancers one more time. Good afternoon, dancers. How y'all doing?
Good.
Yes, beautiful. Good afternoon. So, let's start with the first question for all of y'all. How did you enter the field you are currently in? And what has your career journey been like? Let's start with Shirlene.
Hi y'all. How to enter the field. So basically, just like you, I was young once. And I loved to dance. Like I really loved to dance. I actually didn't know it was a job. And I would dance every day, and summer camp, I was like, that's my jam. I tried out for my high school like cheer dance type team, and I didn't make it the first year because for the first time, had learned choreography, and I was like, wow, this is really, really hard. And I was like, well, I'm gonna try again next year. And I tried again next year, worked really, really hard, and made the team. Lowest score, always put in the back. Could still hardly learn choreography to save my life. I remember the coach would be like, how did this girl even make the team? Like, how did she get through the cracks? And one of the girls on the team was like, come take a dance class with me. And I took my first hip hop class at Millennium Dance Complex. I'm 16 years old. I'm from LA. I remember my life changed. And I would take 4 to 6 dance classes every single day, still not realizing that this was a job. It was just something that I loved with my whole heart in a way that I had never experienced. Like I would get emotional when I would dance. Like I would ask my friends, like, do you feel that? They're like, feel what? I'm like, this is so fun. And I remember it was like my junior going into senior year, and I heard a girl talking about how much she made working for an artist that I was basically obsessed with. Some of you might not even know Maya, but she was like a big deal. She was like a Beyonce back then. And I was like, wow, this is a job? And she was like, yeah, girl. I was like, okay. And it was in that moment that I was like, I'm gonna be a dancer. And then at 18, I booked my first tour, and that happened to be with Beyonce. And then just like lots of jobs kept happening. I'll be 40 next year. I just got off tour, and I could be an example of anything. It's like really working hard can open up the craziest doors and also bring longevity. So yeah, that's how it's kind of been.
Thank you so much, Shirley. Yes. How's that question for you, Jesus? Jesus.
Hola a todos. Good afternoon. It runs in my family, basically. My dad was a musician. My grandpa, all my uncles by my father's side are musicians. So we were dancing and playing instruments and singing every weekend when we used to get together. And we have an icon in Puerto Rico, and her name is Ibis Chacon. It was a vedette, so for the Latin people they might know who she is. And Jennifer Lopez was also imitating her in one of her movies because she was an icon for all of us. So because I was in track and field as well, so I walk with my toes and my butt is like kind of like so they used to bully me because I was in track when I was dancing. And at the beginning, because of the bullying, so I was a little bit afraid, but then I was like, you know what, I can do this. So I kept on dancing, so mostly Latin at the beginning until I started training in jazz. And a friend of mine took me to a jazz class, and I was like, this is me. So I started training professionally for that, and then I got a scholarship in New York from Puerto Rico. I got a scholarship in Leslie Ballet, and I was like, this is my life. And so I quit my jobs. I even almost quit college because I didn't have what we have now before, back in the days. So probably my college, because I was a track and field as well. So I had a scholarship for track and field, not for dancing. So the dancing was still starting, to become dancing. I kept on traveling. I got my tours with mostly Latin artists in salsa or Gilberto Santa Rosa, Victor Manuel. I started choreographing for all of them. So salsa, pop. So I kept on training also in hip hop because you have to train in everything. So I was taking classes every day. I used to come summertime to New York and in Chicago and train. So my day was like having a cake in the morning with eggs and then dancing, having water, cakes, dancing, taking classes. So that's the best thing to train. And as a versatile dancer, that opened so many doors for me. So when you can, people ask me, so are you a dancer? So you're a salsa dancer? So don't label me because I dance heels, salsa, hip hop, jazz, lyrical, ballet, tap. So I kept on training, also singing because I love musicals. I've done a couple of musicals as well. So that's my life. People tell you don't do this because what is your next career? What are you thinking to do? I said if I stop dancing, I'm gonna be teaching. If I can walk, I'm gonna be choreographing and designing and all that because also I love so many things in the industry. Backstage, I love working backstage. I love styling. So can you tell this is what I love? So that's my recommendation to study and keep thriving for what you love and like.
Thank you, Jesus. Rudy, how did that journey look for you?
So, how I entered the dance field. My aunt is a dancer and choreographer, so I grew up watching her dance, and I always was interested and wanted to do it, but I was always scared to tell my family that I wanted to be a dancer, mainly because being Latin, if you want to dance, that already like puts you in a box that you're gay, you're this, and it's flamboyant, it's everything, etc. So I never said I wanted to do it. So I asked my parents to put me in karate. So that was kind of like a sneaky way to kind of get in it before. So karate helped me because I worked with my flexibility. We learned things called forms and katas, and that was like working basically on choreography and memory. And so I did karate for a couple years. I got to my black belt. And then my aunt was on a show, So You Think You Dance. And when she finished the show, she came back and opened a studio. I was like, okay, now's my time. Ooh, sorry. I was like, now's my time. I got my black belt, I did what my dad wanted me to do, whatever. And then I was like, okay, now I'm gonna start dancing. So I started dancing in high school, same as Charlene. And I was at the time in a high school for firefighting. So I was supposed to be a firefighter. But I was like trying to dance at the same time, and when it came to graduation, I was like, "Ooh, I'm not gonna be a firefighter." Like all my friends are like, "Yeah, I'm here, I'm doing this." I'm like, "Okay," and I'm like secretly signing up to go to college for dance. So yeah, I ended up not being a firefighter. I went to New World School of the Arts, which is a college for dance, well, for the arts in Florida. And that's where I got most of my technical training from, where we do like modern and ballet all day, every day for 4 years. And at the same time, I was able to work in the Latin industry as well in Miami, where we do like a lot of award shows and music videos with Latin artists. So that's where I kind of like got into the field of working as a dancer while getting my degree in training. And then from there, just like, I was like, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. So once I graduated, I moved to LA, and then ever since then I've been blessed and able to have this as my career and my like living. So yeah, but I kind of want to carry on the storyline that they said of like working hard. Dance is very difficult. There's gonna be a lot of things coming your way. There's a lot of obstacles. A lot of people are gonna tell you no. But if you just stay persistent and work hard, I promise you, it's gonna happen. You just have to like have your mind like set. You have to like, you can't let any distractions come your way because that's just gonna like delay your process or essentially make you feel like it's not possible. So yeah, I just wanna leave with work hard and believe in yourself.
Thank you, Rudy. And Amaria, please tell us about your journey.
Yeah, so I grew up in Dallas. I went to a performing arts high school in Dallas. I think I'm the youngest one on the panel, and it's encouraging to see the journey of maybe a dancer who wasn't. Their family was like, no, you know, and I'm blessed to be in a place right now where I think my family was pretty, for the most part, they were encouraging me to dance. So I'm blessed and grateful to be able to say that. For the most part, my family was supportive as they could be from what they knew. And I'm hoping that will be a continual trend. But I went to performing arts high school. I studied dance, and then I came out here, went to USC Kaufman School of Dance, where I studied all 4 years in a concentration that I created called Black Dance Traditions, where I was able to hone in on dance traditions that come out of Black communities. So I was mostly studying jazz, hip hop, a lot of street styles, house, whacking and mocking, and I was able to, you know, kind of direct my own directed research. So I was going in sort of the anthropological route as I was studying, and at the end of my time here, I also started to get into arts administration. So by the end of my time, I was working with a professor there, her name is Tiffany Bong, and she has a company called Universal Hip Hop. And the company provides hip hop dance education to schools around LA, schools really around the whole of Southern California. So I'm a program coordinator for that organization now. So in addition to my experience in dance performance while I was in college, I also got to venture into arts administration. So I'm also finding a passion there. And so I graduated 2020, part of the pandemic. So I was grateful to be able to have dance opportunities in that season, but I also wanted to expand my horizons a little bit and explore other fields of the dance industry. It's my current dance journey. I feel like, again, I want to be on some of the panels, so I'm still figuring this thing out, and really grateful to be in the presence of people who have done it and done it successfully and are thriving in it. And I'm also on my way to do that as well. So.
That's right. Thank you, Maria. All right, Sean, so let's get these questions a little bit spicy. All right. This question goes to anybody that wants to answer it in the panel. So you guys decide amongst each other who's going to go first. Are any of you comfortable with sharing a personal struggle, challenge you faced in pursuit of success, and how you overcame it? Shirley?
Well, you know, I've been doing this for 20 years, and have to use a lot of wisdom when I talk about what I'm about to talk about right now. I'm actually going through something right now, and I'm gonna say it, and I don't want anyone to be offended, but I feel so thankful and so blessed to be going through it, because I realized that when you are a head and not a tail, when you're a leader, and when you've built something, people might not always love that. People might not always love your joy. People might not always love your integrity. But when I tell you a good name will go above any lie or anything that anyone tries to do to ruin what you have built, it's impossible. And I've never faced adversity like this in my life. Maybe some of you know, some of you might not know, but it is one of the most challenging seasons in my life, not because of what people are saying, because I know what the truth is and so is the Lord, but what is so challenging is continuing to keep integrity in the face of adversity, especially in this industry. You're going to be faced with a lot of things. And my journey as not just a dancer, but as a woman, I'm now a woman, or as a young girl, starting in the industry at 18, there's a lot of things that were introduced to me that I said no to, and the things that I said yes to, I've been so boldly to share that I have been set free from those things. And I love the fact that I have been built up to be able to really, truly build other people up. And that is 100% the truth. And I know I'm in a public college, and yes, I am talking about God. I love God, and I love what He's done for my life. And the dancing is literally a sprinkle to like the most enormous cupcake of life. And I know sometimes people see joy and they might be like, okay, is she on something? Is LA, did she smoke a joint on the way over here? Like, no, like, I didn't. And I tell you, like, discipline is the most freeing situation. Like, my discipline is why I feel so free. Because no matter what someone says or does, no matter what is brought in front of me, I have a discipline that I can continue to do what I have been sowing into, which is have like integrity. Integrity is the thing that will get you in rooms that you don't belong in. Because when I tell you, my resume does not make sense. Like, I have a resume. It's crazy. And I can't do a dribble turn. I can do a double turn in a month, okay? And drop to flow. But that also happened midway in my career after dancing for some of the biggest stars of this world. And what people loved the most about me was that I was, and still am, an extremely hard worker, and you can rely on me on the stage, off the stage, when the lights are on and when the lights are off. And as people, not just as artists, but as people, no matter what room you step in, it's really easy to just go with the crowd and not be your best. Sometimes you'll be by yourself when you have that much integrity in an industry that is full of things that are not integratable. Drugs, alcohol, sleeping with people's husbands, crazy things. And when you choose to not be that person, you can be in the line of, well, da 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 da. But when I tell you that a job means nothing compared to your integrity, it means nothing. And I just want to encourage you guys that no matter what jobs you get, because I really hope that all your dreams exceed itself, that you continue to always have integrity. And if you do mess up, you have that amazing friend that you can talk to about it, because then it's nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? And that right now in the season is probably the hardest thing. But what's so cool is, like, honestly, I don't even care. Does that make sense? Because I know who holds my future, and I know the truth, and I know what the plans are for my life. They're promising, and I'm excited about the promise. And so, yeah, that's just me being as authentic as I can and using wisdom.
Do you mind sharing who that artist that you've been working with is?
I've been working with Lizzo for the last 5 years, who is an incredible woman with a lot of integrity as well. And an amazing experience, because it was the first artist that actually would make me do anything I didn't want to do. Because I am a woman of faith. There was things I didn't want to wear, certain moves I didn't want to do, parties I didn't go to, regardless of what people might be thinking right now. And she loved me, and I've actually been working with her the longest. And she put me in a place of, leadership, and had me be the dance captain. And a lot of people didn't even know I was a dance captain. They're like, you didn't say anything. This was like, oh. My dad always taught me it's not the title that makes the man, it's the man that makes the title. And being a leader, you don't have to announce that you're a leader. You just lead and you do what you're supposed to do. And she's so fun, and she's so incredible. And when I tell you, like, her heart, she's not normal in this industry. I can't imagine what she used to feel like, because she is the kind of person that will say no to if she's not comfortable. And I'll never forget the first week of rehearsals. It was a different finger, and it was in the choreography, and I was like this. I was like, go, 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 go. And they were like, excuse me, what are you doing? The person that was in charge of him, I was like, well, I don't cuss. And now 2006, I was cussing, but not at this time in my life. Since 2009, I'm a changed woman. But I was like, dee, 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 dee. And then all the other dancers, who ironically actually don't dance for her anymore, because this is like 5 years ago, they looked at me, not all of them, a couple of them were like, what's she gonna get? And you know what Lizzo did to me? I'll never forget. She pulled me aside and said, hey. I was like, hey. She was like, I know you love Jesus. I was like, I do. She was like, me too. I was like, word. And she's like, if Jesus don't want you to do it, I don't want you to do it, because I don't want you to get in trouble. And she was like, I was like, ah. And she goes, whatever you feel comfortable, I want you to understand that this is not just something that I say. I want you to feel comfortable in this space. So whatever you're not comfortable doing, you can say no. And I have been. And I've done it through my whole career. A really good friend, the person that we share in common, knows and can attest to. The thing about me is that I will say no when I'm uncomfortable, and that can make you come across as, oh, who does she think she is, saying she doesn't want to do that move? I don't want to do that, because this job I don't want no little girl looking at me with this other finger, because that means more to me than this check right now. And she was the one that was cool with it. So when I tell you, if you ever get to work with her, baby, it's a good time, and it's a very safe time, like 100%.
Thank you so much, Shirley. Anybody else that want to take on that question?
Well, I wanted to say a real struggle and also it's a real big challenge is living in different countries, starting from the experience, not from the beginning. Also because us as dancers, sometimes we feel like we're stuck. Okay, I'm here, nothing is happening, there's no job. You gotta search for the job, but you gotta be in front of the choreographers, or you gotta be in front of the artists and show that you can do that. If nothing is happening, I recommend always to move to another state or another country. Don't be afraid, because in the industry, in the entertainment industry, you have to go where the job is, or because sometimes it's saturated in some places when it's not. Like for example in LA, there's so many hip hop dancers, so many hip hop choreographers or whatever. So that's why I recommend also to be versatile, to study so many things, so you could go for something else. And it's been a struggle for me and a challenge living in New York, and then first in Puerto Rico, then in New York, and then in London, and then Italy, and then back to LA. So I'm starting again from that experience. I never thought, okay, I'm starting again from zero. People say, you're starting from zero. I said, no, because I have an experience. And it's been a struggle, but I'm making it. I'm new to LA, and I'm doing so many things. I've been here for 4 years, and because of that mindset, I've been able to do so many things, and that I want to pass that along. So don't feel like you're stuck, or when you feel like you're stuck, draw a line and think, okay, where can I be? Where can I be? What can I do? Make it like draw a strategy, so where you can go and what you can do. And nowadays there's a GoFundMe, so if you don't have the money, people and friends are gonna help you out. So I want to move to New York, so help me out with my moving to New York. And people have started sending me money. Do marketing. Nowadays, people are learning from YouTube, so you have YouTube to learn how to do a strategy or marketing, so you don't struggle that much. You have challenges, but you can, you have always, the help is right there. So think about it.
Thank you, Jesus. Let's move on to the next question. So let's direct this question to Amaria and Charlene. So Amaria first. Which identities are important for you? And how has the intersection of these identities affected your career journey?
That was such a good question. Oh my God, I love the questions. What identities are important to me? At the top of my head, my first thing that comes to mind is my identity as a friend, and the person that I am in the people's lives around me. And I know it's not necessarily dance related, but it affects everything that I do. My identity I'll use more broad terms because they go into then professional terms. I'll say my identity as a friend and a provider, I think. And so when I look at those identities that are kind of at the core of who I am, when I'm asked to do jobs or I go into rooms, I'm then trying to ask myself, do these align with the identities my core identities? So for example, I'm a very good supporter. I think that's a strength that I have, and that I get to play out in my role as a program coordinator on at Universal Hip Hop. So because that's one of my strengths, that was a very easy yes for me to take on that role. As a supporter, as a Black woman, as all these things, if I go into a performance room, so I consider myself to have a list, an important list when I'm thinking about jobs. Are there good people in the room? And you can borrow these if you want to. Are there good people in the room? Is it creatively fulfilling? And is the money right? Yeah. So in addition to all of my identities as a Black person, a woman, a supporter, a friend, all these things, when I go into a room, I'm asking, are these going to support my other identities? Is it creatively fulfilling? You know, am I gonna cross boundaries when I go in as an African American person? What's the climate in the room that I'm going into? Are there good people there? Can I be a supporter? Can I help bring people together in that room? And is the money right? You know, that's a aside. It's not always the most important, but those are the questions that I'm asking. You asked about the intersections. Yeah, I think they all cross. I think they all go into the decisions that I'm making. And then it would encourage to have a list of non-negotiables. So if you can't check all the boxes on your list, if you only check one, then look at your non-negotiables. Am I doing this that I always said I wouldn't do? Will I be inauthentic if I go into this room? Once you answer those questions, I think, and that's not the question that you asked me, but once you go in and asking and answering those questions, I think who you become in the process of doing jobs, who I'm becoming in the process of doing certain things, it just becomes clearer and clearer and clearer the more I make those decisions, ask those questions, consider those intersections, consider my identity. I mean, they will be changing. It's always changing for me. Maybe I won't always be in one role, in one performance role, in one, professional role. But as my identities change, as I become more clear on who I am as a person, as my life situation changes, when relationships come, if kids come, all these things, then I will be a mother, then I will be, these more things that I add to my identity, how will they affect me professionally? How will they intersect? And they will always be changing, as we all do.
Sweet, thank you, Amaria. And actually, I'm gonna change this question up a little bit. I'm curious how Rudy would answer this question. So I know you mentioned earlier your journey, so you had to enroll into karate classes to be able to get that dance experience. So yeah, how does this question go for you?
I kind of want to piggyback on what she was saying. I was like, I want to say this. I think, so what I identify with is always being a good human being. And I think people think of dance as one thing and then real life as another thing, and they're not. They're the same exact thing. So being like a good human being, a smart, quick person is gonna help you be a great dancer. Because you have to be aware. You have to be aware if you're in a rehearsal or in a classroom, you have to be aware of your spacing, right? The same way as if you're walking down the mall, you're not gonna bump into someone, you're gonna be aware of where you're walking and what you're doing. The same thing is like in school, when you wanna ask the teacher a question, you raise your hand. The same thing in the classroom atmosphere, you're gonna be respectful when you ask a question. So it's like all these things that we do and learn as like normal human beings in the real world, we have to translate to dance, and that's what identifies with me, because I feel like people just like think of it as a whole different ball game, and it's not. It's the same exact thing. So I always try to like instill that in people when I'm teaching or when I'm in a room with them, like, hey, this is the same exact thing. So like if you don't like this in real life, don't apply it into the classroom or rehearsal atmosphere. It has to be the same thing. We have to respect each other. We have to communicate well and clear. We have to come ready. Like you don't go to work without your uniform, without your lunch, without the right things, the right tools. The same thing in a rehearsal. You're gonna go with your roller. You're gonna go with the attire, with an extra towel, with an extra shirt, with water, with like all these things like that. Unfortunately, people don't think as like a regular, normal thing to do. And it's like, yeah, you have to do these things. So, I don't know, I think I'm going on a rampage right now, but what identifies with me is the good human being, normal life, things that I have, and incorporating it into the dance industry, dance classroom, work world.
Sweet, thank you, Rudy. So let's just go down the row real quick and just answer this question quick for our audience. How did you prepare for an audition process? Shirley, let's start with you.
Me? Oh, I love auditions. And what I would do is I had my one outfit. I knew it worked, I knew it rocked. I had the same color, the same outfit, 10 of them. And that's on period. Because I would hear people like, I have to wash my clothes. I was like, well, girl, you do too much. And I would just, whoever the choreographer was, I would prepare myself. If I didn't know the choreographer, now y'all got YouTube. Let me tell you something about back in the 2000s, I would have to go to the library. And you just go on YouTube, okay, that's their style. If I don't know the artist, I would look at who the artist is. And I would get, for me, auditions were like dress up, but class with my favorite choreographers, because most of these choreographers don't teach all the time. So I was like, with that headspace, and I never, even my closest friends, they all knew at auditions, you cannot talk to me. You like just do not talk to me. I love you with all my heart. Like, let's pretend you're my best friend. Like one of my best friends, I remember one time, I don't know if it was I talked, because she was like, I know you're my friend, so please. I was like, oh, you're my best friend. Da, da, da. She was like, thanks. And we both got kept to the end. Now that's different. But like, I don't want to hear how you think the other person's doing. How did I think you did? Because for me, it's a race. If I am running, I'm not looking to my right or to my left. If I look to my right, I'm a trip. If I see you back, I might slow down. You see what I'm saying? Like if the person way behind you, if they like slacking in the choreo, you're like, well, I don't have to go that hard. No, you have to go hard because you are running your own race and you don't know why anyone's going to book the job if they won't book. So I will just run my stamina. I was like, my stamina used to be, it's still crazy. And I just was like always in go mode and it was just performance time. So I was like, yay performance. And I will say my audition, the cool thing about me is, like I said, I'm most technical, the best, the prettiest, the skinniest, the shortest, the tallest. I'm pretty tall, I'm kind of thick. You know, don't have that much of technical experience, but because I had that run the marathon mindset, when I tell you I'm a great auditioner, I would either get kept to the end for the last, I would say at least since the age of 24. I can't remember the last time I didn't get kept to the end at an audition, if not book it, and that's on period. Next.
Thank you, Julie. Jesus, how about you? Jesus?
Oh, me? Well, it depends. It depends, because living in Puerto Rico, it was a different, well, you gotta study the choreographers. Like, first of all, you gotta research on who's the choreographer, and then you gotta, nowadays it's easier so you can see their work. Except like here in Vegas, for Katy Perry, so I forgot the name of the choreographers, everyone was trying to search, and they erased everything from the social, so you couldn't tell what style they had. So that's the most important thing, to look for all the choreographers, what they're thinking, or the artists, or whatever. You can see what they have. So in Puerto Rico, it was a way to dress. I remember I moved to LA in 1999, and then I'm going back to an audition for Janet Jackson, and everyone was in costume. I was like, okay, I'm in black, because I was coming from New York. In New York, you audition for Broadway most of the time, so you go, they want to see your body, you want to see your legs, so you have to be body conscious, but you have to be tight so they can see you. And then I was like, okay, I got you LA. So I had an audition for Madonna. I got kept until the end, but then everyone was in cowboy, everyone was like glitter, sparklings. I was like, okay, I got you LA. Boom, boom, boom. So you gotta see what the country or what the state is. In New York, it's very much Broadway or street dance or whatever. In LA, it's more, okay, you gotta be ready for the show. So you gotta search first what you're gonna do. So that's the way that I was preparing. But moving to a new place, so at the beginning, okay, oh, that's what it is. They get upset. And then, of course, take classes with the choreographers. What else? You know, that was the way that I was doing, preparing myself for the audition. Coconut water for the whole day, and maybe a cake, because I cannot eat.
How do you eat so much cake? You look good.
Energy. Well, I do CrossFit and all that, but I come from the track and field, so I've been always.
What are you eating? Oh, sorry.
I need energy, so I need either because the power bar.
I thought you meant like egg cake or something.
No. I need sweet to like a pastry, like an almond pastry. But the most important thing is the coconut water, because the water, people say this is a thirst quencher. It's not for me. My mouth is really dry. So I need my coconut water, the whole like 4, and my bag is very heavy because of the water, the coconut water. So I can, just in case I get kept. So you have to be running in that energy. That's my fuel.
Yeah.
Coconut water.
Thank you, Jesus. So Charlene got 4 extra outfits. Jesus got coconut water and the braids ready. All right, Rudy, how does your audition process look like? And actually, how does the audition process look like now versus, I want to say, 5 or 6 years ago?
Okay. Well, I think they answered most of the things. I think in an audition, luckily nowadays, when they send you the audition, you will probably have like the audition attire like there. So they'll probably say all black, body conscious, or they'll say, I don't know if it's for Gaga, like rocker, show your identity, blah, blah, blah. So luckily now they kind of gear you towards the way that they want and what they're looking for in the clothes department. But if I go to an audition, auditions just started happening again because of COVID and everything. Everything was self-tapes or direct booking. But now the auditions are happening again. And what I usually do is I always have my little folio with my headshot and resume in my car ready to go, because if you're not home and it's last minute or you don't have a printer, like I don't have a printer at home, so it's like, oh my God, I have to go somewhere and print it. It's a mess. So always have those ready to go because you need that wherever you go. And also I just go in and kind of like what Charlene said, I just like am there. I'm not paying attention to anybody or anything, and it might come off as like rude, but I'm not there to play games. I'm there to learn the choreography, to get like the job, and to like feel good in my body. And I think that if you're just like kikiing with your friends and like all over the place, your energy is just like flowing and leaving you, and you're not like set, you're not ready. So that's like, I'm just always on my A game, I'm always like this. Everyone's different. The way you work under stress is different, so I can't tell you you have to be like this, but that's what works for me. I'm just in the zone and ready. And then what was it? Oh, you said the difference between 5 years ago and now? I mean, today is my anniversary of 5 years living in LA. So, 5 years ago, luckily when I moved, I had jobs in line, so I didn't have to audition. But the audition process, I'll say in comparison from Miami to here, because I'm from Miami, I don't know if I said that, but originally from Miami, Florida. So the difference is Miami is so much smaller than LA, like so much smaller. You would go to an audition, they're looking for guys, they want 10, and at most, there would be like 30 guys. So there wasn't much competition, so I found myself booking a lot there and being like comfortable. And there got to a point where I was like, okay, I think if I want to pursue this and do more and like grow, I need to leave, kind of like what he said, and I need to go to a bigger city to feel the difference. So once I did come here and I did audition for a couple of things when I first got here, it was very difficult because there was like 200 guys in a room and they're looking for 10. So there was like a big difference in numbers, and I was like, oh my God, like how am I gonna get this? But if you just like, if you just try hard and are honest and like yourself, you're gonna get the job. And if the job's not for you, it's not for you. Don't try to like nitpick everything and be like, oh wait, was the outfit right? Did I do right? Did I mess up? Do they not like my look? Who knows? There's so many things that it could be, so just don't even like go down that road, because I promise you, it's gonna be a long dark road of like what ifs. Doesn't matter. It wasn't for you. You didn't get it. That's okay. The next one. I mean, it's not the next one, it's the next 10. Like, what's for you is for you. So yeah, the difference is the amount of people and the talent. And yeah, just be ready. Always be ready. You have to just be on it.
Thank you, Rudy. Amaria.
I'd like to add, other than knowing your context, knowing what you're walking into, do your research, and the only thing I would add is I pray before the audition. Maybe I'm not there to book, maybe I'm there to connect with another dancer in the room, maybe I'm there, there are a lot of reasons that I might be in that specific room, so I just pray, make sure I know, make sure my mind is right, my spirit is right, and yeah.
Thank you so much. Alright, so if y'all could answer this question within like a 1 minute time frame, it's gonna be directed towards Rudy and Charlene. how have dance competitions impacted the industry? And there's a sub-question to that. How has participating in dance competitions impacted your career success? Who wants to take it on first?
I'll do it first because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can be short because this is you right here.
Yeah, but
Besides-
I'll be short too.
And please share the competition
Yeah.
that y'all
Well,
have
like I didn't do a lot of competition stuff. I did like the cheer dance.
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
Yeah, and that actually just really taught me work ethic, being part of a team. Be whole all by yourself, but know that you're part of a moving part, right? I think what has been great for competitions and everything, like I am competitive. Sometimes I gotta put myself back. I am competitive, but the cool thing that I'm just super competitive with myself, and I think that the competition atmosphere and stuff has taught me that. I think it teaches really good standard, structured self-discipline. However, I'm gonna keep it 100. It's not the reality of what actually working as a dancer looks like.
Yeah. Thank you, Shirley.
Everyone
And
there.
weren't you also part of the Give It Up to the
Oh
video?
yeah, I was on a TV show.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I would forget my resume. It was really cool, and being a judge was nice. I didn't have to compete. All I knew was that when I was judging the show, I was like, oh, I don't want to be one of the girls. I would have rather have done what I did than do it like that. Because sometimes you get thrown into a thing that you don't understand too early, and then it's just a lot. And it's interesting. But what I loved about being with that show, the thing about Lizzo, and this is, trust me, I'm like, this is rare for competition shows. She wanted everyone to win. Like, truly, she was like, I don't want to eliminate people. Most competition shows is different. And she was like, if I can bring everyone, I will. So it was more one of those things like, if they just can't learn the choreo or if they're having a bad attitude, like, it's not part of our tribe. Because what's so cool is a lot of the girls that didn't win, every single person that did not win on the show still performed with us. Even the people that got taken off the show. That's rare, but then that's her heart. So I know you were a part of a different type of competition show, and I want to say you did really wonderful on it, and my mom watched it and we loved it. So let's go, Rudy.
Yeah, that part, I'm like, hold up, why? Like, we have to go all the way to the end. But I'm gonna let him share that. Rudy, how's this question?
I didn't know
go
that
for
you were
you?
talking about that show. I thought you were talking about like dance competitions, like studio dance competitions. Which one do you want me to talk about?
Let's go with TV. Yes.
Yeah. Participating in a dance competition. TV is very difficult. It's very difficult. I went in there just like thinking it was just gonna be like rainbows and butterflies. I don't know why. Because I'm like, girl, you've been through this. Like, you know what to expect. You see reality TV shows. But I don't know. I was just super excited about it. And that changed real fast. TV and competition changes people, and it makes people crazy. It makes people act different. And so if you don't know who you are at the core, you're gonna change, you're gonna act different. And I think that that was like one of the qualities that I was so happy to like have within myself, is like know who I am and not change my aesthetic or my style or my full-outness for anyone. I don't care. If I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna lose. But this is how I dance, this is how I choreograph. And at the end of the day, whatever performance you do, whether it's salsa, house, hip hop, jazz, funk, pop, whatever style of genre of dance, you're gonna dance full out. You're gonna dance with your energy, like full out energy. So I will not change anything about that, because when you perform, you're gonna fatty breathe and you're gonna sweat and you're gonna feel it. But that's the name of the game, and that's the fun of it. It's like you're giving your all. I'm giving you my soul. I'm giving you my love and passion, and so it's gonna be tiresome. But yes, it was hard. It's hard to get judged and critiqued by people. So I just had to have like a good head on my shoulders and just let things slide off. Because if I let it affect me, I would have like gone down a dark path, which I almost did, but I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Like, everyone has their opinions about me and about everyone else, and I can't let that affect me. And I will say, thankfully, because of my family and my support system, I was able to like get over that and be okay. So if you don't have that with your family, find it with a friend, find it with a loved one, because I promise you, if you have that person to vent to and like express yourself with, things will feel much easier. And you won't have like resentment toward anyone or anything.
Thank you, Rudy. All right, so we're gonna extend it just a little bit longer, just 5 more minutes, just to answer just a couple more questions. So this question's for all of y'all. What advice would you give to dancers considering a BFA program to make the most of their experience? Let's start from Amaria down this way.
Yeah. Repeat the question.
So what advice would you give to dancers considering a Bachelor's of Fine Arts program to make the most of their experience?
So dancers who are considering it. I'd say look at all of your options, and that means the quality of the the BFA program, the quality of the larger institution, if you're considering a BFA program that is within a larger, like a liberal arts college that includes more majors or whatever. Look at the entire school. Look at the quality of the BFA program. Look at the faculty. Look at the faculty roster and ask yourself, do I see myself training with these people all day, every day? Because these are the people that not will make or break you, but will influence your path in a lot of ways. Look at the faculty roster, and then look at, as much as you can, look at the schedule. Like, ask yourself these questions, like, will my personality, will my the way that I schedule my day, the way that I like to operate on a day-to-day basis, is this conducive to this program? Because if it's not, you can already start sifting out some issues. Because BFA programs are not for everybody. But if you, as you're looking through all of those things, consider everything. Consider the demographics of the students that are already there. Like, what are they looking for? Will my mental health thrive in this environment? Will my body thrive in this environment? Like, consider all those things. And if the answer is yes, I will thrive, or I will get something out of it, start preparing yourself now. Start preparing your mind and your body for the rigor. Because a lot of BFA programs are really rigorous, mentally, emotionally, and also physically. So ask yourself, is this conducive? And if the answer is no, it's not, that is not an issue at all, because BFA programs are not for everybody. But just ask yourself the really important questions and then be honest with your answers.
Thank you. Rudy?
The BFA programs are very difficult. Just say, like, I think you should ask yourself, am I ready for this? Because they are very difficult. I remember we have these things called juries after every, oh my God, what's it called? Not season, what is it? Semester. Okay, I don't know how to speak sometimes. After every semester, you have a thing called juries, and I just remember, like, hating my life going in there, because it was just like, you're too fat, you're too this, you're too that, blah, 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 and they just, like, nitpick everything, and they're just, like, they're harsh. They, like, make you want to go crazy. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I know I want to be a choreographer. I know I want something, like, I want a degree under my belt so that no one ever tells me anything. So that was, like, the perk of me graduating. It was like, okay, I studied anatomy, so I know the dancer's body. I did a class called DTM, which is Dance Teaching Methods, how to teach an actual dance class. Dance history, like all these things that helped me, because I knew I wanted to be a choreographer. I knew that later in the future I wanted to have a studio, and I needed all these tools for later. So that's why I dealt with what I had to deal with. But at the same time, like she said, you have to, like, do your research and be like, okay, do I like these? Do I like the faculty? Do I like what they stand for? Am I ready to be there from 8 to 5 every day and not have time for anything else? Because yeah, it's a lot. But you do learn, you do grow. So it has its pros and its cons. You just have to, like, weigh it out and see, like, am I ready for this? Am I willing to put up with this and work this long and this much for 4 years? But yeah, this for you is free.
Thank you, Rudy. And actually, I'm going to switch up this question. Jesus, do you have any advice you would like to give our students or anyone in attendance today?
An advice of?
just about the dance industry. You have to
Oh.
jump in, jump out,
Jump
work it
in.
out.
You gotta go for your feelings. You know, whatever you love, that's what you gotta go for. Not letting anybody else to tell you, no, you should be studying this and studying that. And I wanted to add also, if you're gonna go for a BMA, it's wonderful. I know it's difficult, but it's, you know, nothing is difficult. Everything is difficult in life. You just gotta, if you love it, go for it, but don't just stop right there. I remember my friends going to college, and first because you're gonna make friends in your future college, and that's your contacts when you go to college. That's your life around you. Not just from from the dance industry, but from the lawyers or whatever it is in in the curriculum for that college. That's you're creating a community, which is wonderful. And when you study, just don't go for the study. When you in your free time, you gotta keep on studying. You gotta keep on. If you're going for dance, for the dance bachelor or whatever, you gotta go and take classes in the studios close to your college to keep on creating and building up your community. And because when you get out of there, you're gonna look for a job, and that's what you're creating. You're building that. So that's I think it's an amazing advice for everybody.
Community, y'all. Let's go. Shirley, any advice?
Yeah, just remember that no person, like no one is like has control over the narrative of your life, right? So some people might say you're never gonna make it, or this, that, and the third. Like, sometimes the closest people to us will be a distraction. So just keep your eye on the prize that you have set forth for yourself. And like honestly, I just really want to impart this in all y'all. Like really, and this is not to sound like I'm little Miss Perky Sally from Burbank. I am Perky. I am from Burbank. But it's when I tell you like the reality of like the most unbelievable things can happen, but you have to have unbelievable and incredible faith. Okay, and I don't know what that journey looks like for you, but honestly, like your foundation has to be so firm that nothing can shake it. You understand? So having an unmovable, unshakable, firm foundation. I know you said feelings, but sometimes our feelings are wrong. Because sometimes you could feel like, oh, I feel like this isn't for me because we're broken. We're hurt. We got hurt from the last audition. And then we're the season I'm in, and I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not doing secular dance jobs ever again. I'm just going to dance for Jesus. No, God called me in the secular industry because I love Jesus. And I'm going to show what the love of Jesus looks like in this world, unashamed and unafraid. So whatever it is that you've been called to do, you step forth with that with full integrity, and you literally set something ablaze and on fire because someone somewhere needs your story. Like facts. Someone somewhere needs your story and the desire of whatever that is. I don't know what you want to do with dance. You might want to create a new type of movement. You might want to create a school. Don't let someone else dictate to you what that looks like for you, what that career looks like for you. If Bob Fosse had learned to listen to every other choreographer, we wouldn't have had cabaret because his movement did not make sense. He had interned feet. Like, his feet were all sickled and they're like, click, clop, click, clop. That was bad dancing. That became a style that people are trying to copy. You understand? So when I say you are an individual with an individual fingerprint, it is for a specific reason, and that dream placed on the inside of you, do not let anyone snatch it, grab it, plant the wrong seed, you keep watering that seed, and that's not a period. And yeah, I tried to do it under a minute.
Thank you so much, Shirley. Do Amaria or Rudy want to add to that last question? Any advice you want to give to our students?
Be open. Be open to taking unconventional routes in the industry. The dance community is so big. Like there are so many avenues. When I moved to LA, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do the dance performance thing. And I am and will continue to. But I found avenues that I didn't know would be, conducive to my journey. So be open. And understand that there are seasons for everything. There are seasons for you to be supporting. There are seasons for you to be doing the exact thing that you want to be doing, exactly, with the exact artist or the exact choreographer, whoever. And there are also seasons for you to not be doing that, and that is okay. And everyone's seasons are kind of on a different timeline. And something I'm still reminding myself now is the people around, you know, it's easy to look at the people around you and think, oh, I wouldn't be doing that right now, or I should have been doing that. And it's a discipline also, kind of like what Shirley was saying. It's a discipline to continue to remind yourself that what's for you is for you. And it sounds cliche, and you hear it all the time, whatever, but it really is a discipline. It's something that you have to repeat over and over and over and over and over. But be open to maybe doing things that aren't dance. If you need to go work at Starbucks to pay your rent, like do that. I'm seeing a lot of times that like if we're not getting the dance job that we want, we're just like, okay, I don't want to, you know, I'm frustrated, or let me go move or whatever. And I think, as Jason was saying, I think looking at different areas is an absolutely great way to do it. But sometimes you don't need to move. Sometimes you just stay right there and put your feet to the ground and work at Starbucks for a season, and that's, you know, that's what you need to do to prepare for all the things. So just be open and stay persistent. I'm talking to myself.
Rudy, want to close it out?
Mine is short and easy. Don't forget to have fun, and don't forget that you're dancing because you love it. You know when you're little, or well, you were little, so you probably don't remember, but you know when you see a baby hear music and they just start dancing crazy and they have so much joy in their face and they love to like just move crazy. Like that's what we have to keep in our minds and bodies 20 years down the road. Like we have to keep that fun and love, because if not, it just turns into a job, it turns stale, and it just is like blah. You know what I'm saying? We need to keep the fun and the love in dance.
Thank you so much. Everybody, please give it up for our panelists today. Yes. And so I want to thank Pasadena City College, Robert G. Freeman Center for Career Completion, Jackie Javier, my director, Rosanna Noel, my assistant, and Antonio Guerra for bringing me to campus again. And of course, I'll also thank Zach from the Music Center for helping me out with all the support. We can't forget all the lovers of dance out there. And especially thank you, Charlene, thank you, Jesus, Rudy, and Amaria for being here today. And please join us outside for a light reception and networking opportunity with our panelists. Please go over your career guides and just know that there's extra pages on there for y'all to like write down some information. And don't forget, career goals, let's go!